What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Jojo Diaz versus William Zepeda. Very interesting fight. What do we think about this one? Let's get into it. Let's start with Jojo Diaz. He's coming into this one with a record of 32 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. He's been in the ring with some quality opponents. He's got a very good resume. He's been in the ring with guys such as Gary Russell Jr., Jesus Rojas, Shavkat Nakhimov, Tevin Farmer, Javier Fortuna, and most recently, Devin Haney. So he isn't afraid of tough fights and afraid of competition and tough competition and getting in the ring with them. Diaz has a good jab when he uses it. He's a good combination puncher, an accurate puncher, but he does his best work when he is in close, right? He's going to try and close the gap early, get in on the inside where he can let his hands go. He doesn't have a big reach, so the snappier, shorter punches work well for him, right? The hooks to the head, the hooks to the body, the uppercuts, the body punches are shots that Jojo Diaz uses when he's in range. While he can take a shot, he can avoid some of the shots if he decides to move and change his angles a little bit more. His footwork isn't the best, but he can move. I've seen him do it in certain fights. He can be a lot more defensively responsible, but Jojo Diaz, he is there to get hit. Now, I want to go back to his fight against Javier Fortuna, right? That fight didn't have too much movement from both fighters. A little bit, but not too much. They stood right there in front of each other and started trading shots, especially in the later rounds where I felt like Jojo Diaz's conditioning and activity in his work rate helped him seal the win. It's like he caught a second energy and a second burst of energy in that 10th, 11th, and 12th round where he looked tired in the 8th and the 9th, but he'll take some of the power off his shots in some rounds to have a burst in the later rounds, right? And one of the things with Jojo Diaz too is it may look like he gets hit cleanly, but he actually rolls with some of the shots. And when he rolls with some of the punches, right, he still gets hit, but it takes off some of the power of his opponent. So he is very crafty in his style during his fights. But against Fortuna, I thought he showed very good heart, and I thought he showed he can win a tough, close fight, and he'll do whatever it takes to win that fight. Now, in the fight that he lost against Haney and Russell, Haney jabbed him and kept him at bay for most of the fight. He used his footwork to outbox Jojo Diaz. I thought Haney was just too quick and skilled for Diaz, though Diaz had some good moments. I mean, he caught Devin Haney one time and had him wobbling a little bit. Stylistically, it just wasn't the best fight for him. Gary Russell did the same thing. The hand speed, the counter punching were just a bit too much for him. Stylistically, it wasn't the best matchup against Haney or Russell. Were not good fights for him. But Zepeda is, right? Zepeda will stand there and he'll bang and he'll trade shots. He won't cut off the ring or use the angles of the footwork like a Devin Haney or a Gary Russell would. Zepeda will welcome a fight, right? And I think that works in the favor of Jojo Diaz. But the question is, can he match the power of the bigger, stronger William Zepeda? Let's talk about William Zepeda. 26 wins, no losses, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. His notable win for me comes against Rene Alvarado. If he can pull off this win, to me, this will be his best win to date. This is a tough test for both men. Zepeda is a come forward type of fighter. He's going to come forward. He's going to let his hands go, going to let the work rate show. He's going to bring that to the table, and he's tough. He's going to throw a lot of straight hands, a lot of power hooks, a lot of body shots, and he throws a lot at you. And that's how he breaks you down, because it's not just one shot with William Zepeda. It's 4 shots or 5 shots or 6 shots back to back to back to back, and he just tires you out because there's only so much that a person can take. He's relentlessness with his pursuit and his attack. So I'm not expecting anything to change in William Zepeda's style. I'm expecting him to come forward and expecting him to let the hands go and be relentless with this pursuit as he tries to break Jojo Diaz down. Now, his recent fight against Rene Alvarado, right? He threw every shot at him. And Alvarado stood there and took it and threw shots of his own. Man, to me, it just looked like, well, through 8 rounds, Zepeda had one plan, and one plan only. And that was to put together a barrage of punches and to break down his opponent. But in the last 2 rounds, I saw Zepeda change his tune a little bit, and he started to set things up a lot more, using his feet to give Alvarado different angles, and started to put the jab out there a little bit more, because I think he realized that, like, man, I've thrown everything at this guy and he's not going down. Like, he's still there. So he can change and make those necessary adjustments if the fight isn't playing out to how he expected it to. I mean, that alone was an exciting fight. I watched that one recently as well, too. If you haven't seen that one, definitely go and check it out. It's definitely one of those fights that you do not want to take your eye off any round. But this is going to be a fight. A couple questions for me is, who is going to make those necessary adjustments as the fight goes on? Who is going to be the bigger puncher? Right? Who's going to tire out first going into those championship rounds? I don't think Diaz in this one, even though he can fight on the inside, I don't think he needs to engage as much in the pocket with this fight, at least early. I think he needs to use the jab to pick his spots in the early rounds and turn it on in the championship rounds. Zepeda does great work on the inside. I mean, he's a hard hitter. He's the taller fighter. He's got the bigger reach. He's the stronger fighter, right? He's strong on the inside. And if Diaz can use his feet and become slick and crafty and move and hit the body and not get hit, I think he can outbox Zepeda in this fight. Not by fighting on the inside the whole fight, but being responsible defensively and wrapping up on the inside if he's in trouble. If he can fight tactically with a lot more strategy, then he can minimize and at least frustrate some of the work that William Zepeda is going to try to bring forth, especially on that inside. And I think he needs to use the movement and fight from a distance at time, right? Where he can slip in, hit the body, and slip out and keep moving forward. William Zepeda has a chin on him as well. So even if he can't hit the head, if he can break down that body, it'll at least give him something else to think about, where he has to be careful that he doesn't get countered when he is coming in, because William Zepeda, he comes with a force and he comes with a whole rush of momentum as he's letting his hand go. If Jojo Diaz can become a little bit more of a counter puncher, those shots will be there, because when William Zepeda commits to the attack, he's susceptible to being hit. He isn't defensively sound enough not to get hit. But this is going to be a very good fight, and I think it comes down to strategy and tactics, right? This one is tough to pick. I'm taking Jojo Diaz, though, to win this one on points. I think he may lose the early rounds, but I think in the middle rounds, he starts to find his groove and he starts to minimize some of the work that Zepeda is doing by finding different ways to control the distance and the range and the intensity of the fight. And I think he comes on strong in the second half and finds a way to edge out the win. We've seen him do this before, and I think he'll do it again this fight. So my mind is saying Zepeda, but my heart is saying Jojo Diaz. And this time, I am going with my heart in this one. I have Jojo Diaz winning this fight by decision. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comments section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways that you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. If you'd like to follow me on social media, my social media handles will be on screen as well. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, then do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.